Oh, man. Welcome back to the gray space. And we got another good one for you guys today.
Yes. Make sure you subscribe to become part of the tribe. Do us right. Hit that like and comment if you are rocking with the content now. We definitely got a special guest in the building.
Mm-hmm.
As we always say, he's the most recent.
So he's the most special.
Goddamn right. Mm-hmm. Our guest today is no secret to the culture of Arizona hip hop. From the legendary group Writers Guild, which we've had the luxury of sitting down with most of the group, to being on some grown man-ish now and extending his horizons into lifestyle, fitness, and now radio. His new upcoming show on Icon Radio, A Penny for Your Thoughts, is set to bring discussion about the true elements of emceeing and hip hop overall, which is something we're going to dive heavily into, and it's a show that's much needed. We've got a hip hop purist, true bar spitter, dope MC, and so much more. We've got Penny the Great in the building. What's up, Penny?
What's up?
Well, that was an incredible intro.
Oh, man.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I need to put that on the song or something, man. Jesus Christ. No, it's good to be with y'all, man.
Yeah,
man.
man.
Thanks
I
for coming
appreciate
through.
the love, too. I appreciate the love.
Yeah,
Definitely,
man.
definitely.
And you know, with you, man, it feels like you're kind of the final infinity stone. You know what I'm saying? Because we've had Rand. We've had Rock Knowledge.
Okay.
We've had Rocky.
Yeah.
We've had Dave.
Yeah, those are my people. That's that's
We've
my
had
tribe.
DN3.
That's my tribe, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, and then we got, Metaphorical's going to come through next month. So we will definitely, we getting all the infinity stones together. You know what I mean?
That way you give them a good snap.
That's
There
it.
you go.
Snap.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, man, appreciate you coming out to SoCal, Arizona, as we call it.
for sure.
Because you damn near in Los Angeles right now.
Pretty much,
Low
man.
key.
I mean, I thought I was driving to Cali coming out here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Legit.
saying? I'm like, man, speed limit changes, gas prices changes. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
they went up a little bit for sure. So man, let's just dive right into it, man. You've been a part of the Arizona hip hop scene for a very long time.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there's not few people who have been in this game that we've had the pleasure of talking to that your name hasn't come across in some capacity or form. So talk to us really about how you got into hip hop in general and the Arizona hip hop scene and how you came up, man.
Well, initially, I'm not from Arizona.
Okay.
I'm originally from New York. I'm from the Bronx.
Okay.
And so for me, hip hop is that's just in my blood, bro. You know, like I grew up breakdancing, doing graffiti. I never learned how to do any of that stuff either. It just
Came naturally.
Yeah. So by the time I got out here, you know, like hip hop was pretty much my culture versus like something I did. Like I wasn't like I couldn't tell you the first time I did anything. It just was in me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I never had the capacity to actually make music until I moved out here. I had a lot of wild stuff going on as a youngster. So by the time I got here, you know, things started kind of evening out. My mind got a little bit stronger. So that's when I started really taking it serious as far as like recording music.
Okay.
And as far as the hip hop scene out here, when I first kind of got my feet wet out here, is not like how it is today.
Okay.
And I think that where it's at now, it's a beautiful thing compared to how, man, we was in the trenches back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So like we didn't have a lot of outlets. You know, the internet has made things a little bit easier, but we didn't have a lot of outlets back then.
Okay.
Venues were far in between when it came to actual hip hop shows. A lot of owners didn't like to have hip hop shows because sometimes they brought like negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I've been in the trenches for a while out here. You know
So when did you transition from New York to Phoenix?
In between coming to Phoenix, I was in Texas for a little bit too.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then I moved out here. And I probably got here in, I want to say 2000, May of 2000 is when I actually got out here. So I've been out here for a while. Had a kid out here, and I kind of made Arizona my home. Okay. So now it's AZ to death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always going to be from the Bronx forever. I can't get rid of the accent or whatever. But
yeah, for sure.
It just, I'm AZ to the core.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
it's
saying?
part of your DNA, man.
Yeah, it's part of my DNA now.
Is.
And I've seen that the culture cultivate. I put in my dues in this scene out here too. So it's like it's a part of me now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so when you got here, it was like we just getting into hip hop, or how did that whole thing really start, bro?
Not at all. For me, like, I mean, I used to love freestyling. You know what I'm saying? Like some people rap, I really like to rap. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? I rap. So like I used to go like I wasn't really thinking about becoming a rapper when I first came out here. It's just that the scene was like in a bubble. And I used to go out to Mill Ave all the time, and people would be on the corners battling. I'm like, bro, I would serve everybody here. And I did. I used to serve. That's how I got a name for myself. And then there was Urban AZ. Shout out to Urban AZ. I was when I first got here, one of my homies was like, well, guy that I met was like, bro, you would be great doing promotions. So he kind of got me on with them, and they had this street team where they just used to go out handing out flyers at all the clubs. And I kind of took advantage of that because I didn't know anybody. So that's how I got to meet everybody. And then on top of the fact that I was trying to battle everybody, I kind of just made a name for myself. And then Urban AZ had this show out here called The Shizzle, and I entered the battle. I battled like 30 dudes. And then it came at the end to me. I don't know. You guys know Blurry Eye? You know Blurry Eye? Well, it came out to me and him at the end, and we tied, and we had to go again. I ended up winning. So that's how everybody kind of knew who I was in a sense. But it wasn't like I tried to become her. It just happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just like to freestyle, and I'm like, shit, I'll murder these dudes.
Yeah, and that's back when you really had to have the official freestyles on deck. Like it wasn't
like how it is now. Like the battle game is different now, which is cool. It's an art
dope.
form.
It's
an art
I'm
form.
a big fan of battle rap.
I think it's incredible. It's just that's what it is now. Back in the day, it was like we would just go off the top of the head. You know what I'm saying? Which is still. They kind of both serve their purpose, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because based on how music is and was now. Back then, music was very lyrically heavy.
Yes.
Not that it's not now, but if you look at stuff that sells and stuff, you know, like it's just the way things are going.
Vibes.
Yeah, it's just vibes.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So we've gotten this story from multiple people throughout these interviews.
I'm scared now.
No. It's
right?
not this particular story, but
I'm scared.
the beginning of Writers Guild. I mean, we've heard it from every angle, right? And each one is all similar, right? And it's all, but everybody's truth is a little different, right?
Yeah.
And nothing crazy, but talk to us about your side of that and how that all came about.
Man, it's kind of like a few different type of stories. It just didn't just happen.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So there used to be a website out here called what was it called, man?
Arizona Beats.
Arizona Beats, right? So when I first started actually making music, I put out my first album in 2009. So around that time is when you had Urban AZ, it was AZ Beats, and there was another one, 602 Streets.
602
I kind of missed the 602 Streets part. I knew it was available, and I had some friends that would be on there, but I never really posted on there. But then Arizona Beats came out, and like everybody would post their music, and then it was like kind of like me, Mr. Miranda, Mega Ram, Rocky Tyree. We just were putting out music that sounded different than everybody else's. You know what I'm saying? A lot of music back then kind of sounded like old school, like Cali music. You know what I'm saying? Not to take away or disrespect anybody, because I'm like, I love everybody, most people in this scene. You know what I'm saying? So like, our music just really stood out, and a lot of people used to say that. So then, a lot of promoters would book us for the same shows. So we all would just perform in the same show. So it kind of gave us a little bit of a bond. And then we just started talking about like, man, we should like not necessarily make a rap group, but like we should like form a little squad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we had a meeting at my house, and somehow Rock Knowledge found out that we were doing this. I can't remember how he found out that we were doing this, but he was like, I need to be involved somehow.
Right,
Obviously he's not a rapper, but he was like, somehow in some capacity I need to be involved.
Right.
So we invited him to the meeting, and he actually came out with the name.
Right.
He actually created the name, the Writers Guild.
He did the track.
Yeah, so like we were initially going to call ourselves like Voltron or something like that, which was corny, but like we just couldn't really come with anything on. He was like, yo, we should be the Writers Guild. And then we all thought about it, and we're like, that works. So as you can see, I created the logo, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it's been the guild since then. And we've done a lot of things together, you know what I'm saying? I love those brothers to death, all of them.
Yeah.
To death. They're my brothers for life now at this point.
Yeah, and everybody that we've talked to says you guys still even have like the thread, like your text thread, right? Like,
oh yeah, to this day,
like
we talk every single day.
Yeah,
The only thing I could say I wish we did is I wish we would have actually came out with a Writers Guild album. You know what I'm saying? We never have done that, and we may. I mean, who knows? You know what I'm saying? But like,
are we getting an exclusive right now?
No.
Okay.
Well, we put it like this. I'm gonna say it like this. We got a lot of music.
Right.
There's a lot of music we've created together. We just never put out an official Writers Guild album. We've all done our solo stuff, but like, That's one regret that I have in regards to that, is that we never actually put out a guild project per se.
And see, we've actually heard that from, I want to say, everybody. So
yeah,
we gonna manifest this.
Yeah,
here,
that's
you know
what
what I'm
I'm
saying,
saying,
right here
right?
on the Gray Space. We get the Writers Guild album by the end of 2023. I'm putting that in the air.
I'm glad you said 2023 and not 2022.
No. Because for one time moves too damn fast.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we already in the what? We in the second quarter?
We're in the second quarter.
We're in the second quarter.
We're already done.
Yeah,
we're already we're done.
Like so, we ain't got no time for that. We can start back up in 2023. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Right. So, man, just talk to us, man, about those early days and the club scene, because obviously, like you said, today it's like you have social media outlets. Yeah. You can use the TuneCores and different publishing and different avenues to get your music out independently. You know what I'm saying?
The one thing that has changed and has greatly been great is technology.
For sure.
When I first started putting out music, right, and this is, if you think about it in the grand scheme of time, 2009 is not a long time.
It's not
from that. You know what I'm saying? And think about how much it would cost to shoot a quality video back then.
Yeah.
Versus now, like you could literally buy your own camera. For the amount that you would pay for somebody shooting your video, and go to the University of YouTube, learn how to use it, and learn how to use the editing programs, and now you can shoot videos.
Or even your iPhone
now. Yeah, even your iPhone.
Right.
So like that has changed. Technology has changed a lot. So like from then to now, man, I don't want to say I wish I had the tools back, but what I can say is that the kids now are lucky. You know what I'm saying? And if you're trying to get into this music industry, your phone, what you have right, there's so much you can do with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's unlimited. There used to be a time when you had a East Coast sound, a West Coast sound. Now it's all one sound because of the internet. I can't tell the artists apart from this. I mean, this is half these dudes. I don't know where they're from. Half of them, you know what I'm saying? Unless they really are distinctive, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's certain people out there very distinctive, and you could tell, oh, he from here. But for the most part, man, how people dress, it's all the same now. We're all one, you know what I'm saying? And that's because like the world was bigger back before the internet. You know what I'm saying? You had the West Coast. They didn't really mix with the East, and it was a whole different sound. The South was a whole different sound. So I think
even the elements of the South too, because Atlanta had a different sound than Houston.
Exactly. Yeah.
Texas
was his own world.
Was his own world.
When I lived in Texas, screw music was so big, but it was only in Texas. And it was crazy because like this was like the late 90s, you know what I'm saying? Like from I want to say 98, 97 to like maybe 2000. And like this is when like these guys are going platinum in Houston, not in Texas, in Houston.
Right.
Guys would put out CDs, and what they would do is I know they got in trouble for doing this stuff, so they would take like industry beats, rap over them, screw them, and put them on CDs, and sell them. Right. So they used to sell them at all the mom and pop record stores in Texas. And I remember living in Killeen, all the screw music used to be in the record stores. Eventually they had to take them down, but they already made bread off of this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And these guys were rich, like Swisher House, DJ Screw, not necessarily DJ Screw because he ended up dying a little bit early, but the rappers that were involved with them, they were getting money. Like Little Flip, Slim Thug, Paul Wall, all those guys. Yeah. And I had no idea Paul Wall was white until he actually got signed, because I used to hear him on these Screw tapes, and he sounded just like everybody else. Yeah. Pow wow, So and I saw he was a white dude. I was like, oh shit, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it's like the culture is different in different places. You know what I'm saying? Even at that time, you take some place like Virginia, you know what I'm saying? Virginia, DC, they even had their own type of sound. They had they had the go-go music and all that stuff. Yeah. It was totally different than what people in New York was doing and people in the South. So like the world is different now since then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't say if it's for better or for worse, but there's more ways and avenues to do things now.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you that because I think it's kind of interesting, because just because it's easier, does it mean that you're going to be seen? You know, because there's so many people out there.
When things become easier, sometimes it takes away from quality of things.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, some of the music that we hold really dear to us, like classic music, it was really good because it was far in between. It was like you really had to be that good in order for labels to sign you.
Right.
Now, if you have millions of views, you've already done all the work for the label, so they're going to sign you because this guy's proven that he can get an audience. Yeah, he can get an audience. You know what I'm saying? And it's about the audience, not necessarily about the music. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a business. That's what happens when you have an industry like hip hop going from a multi-million-dollar business to a multi-billion-dollar business.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, then it becomes a business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Versus an art. So
Right.
that's what happens.
do you miss those days of like slapping CDs together and hitting the streets and putting something in the trunk? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Like music-wise, there was nothing better for me as a fan of music, not as an artist, but just a fan of music. Like on a Tuesday when you knew your album from your favorite artist was coming out, ripping off the package, reading the credits. I remember back when albums had the words in there too. I remember listening to like Nas, It Was Written album, and there would be stuff like, what he said? I look in the lyrics and I would see the genius. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, man, I do miss. You know what I'm saying? It was a tangible thing with music. Like now, I couldn't tell you the last time I bought a CD or anything, you know what I'm saying?
Well, they don't even put them in the cars no more. Nah. So I got a funny story, man.
Yeah, like where do you put this shit at?
I got my mom has a friend just bought a brand new Lincoln. This shit just happened. Just bought a brand new Lincoln. Older gentleman, right? He was mad for a whole 24 hours.
He didn't have a CD player
because he didn't know. Now it was like 8 months of him putting this Lincoln to his specs how he wanted it. He gets the damn Lincoln. It's a Lincoln. It's a nice, you know what I'm saying, nice new whip. It had no CD player. He don't know how he's gonna play his music. I said, "Good Lord." And she's like, get Apple. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's like, get Apple.
To be honest, it's more convenient now. It is. It's more convenient. Less CDs. You gotta. So like, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. We got convenience, but if you think, I don't know if y'all ever do this. If you ever get in a car that does have a CD player, right, and it also has streaming, stream some music, right, listen to Spotify, but then put a CD in, and there's a difference. The quality of the music on a CD is way better than the compressed music you hear on these streaming sites.
Yeah.
So that's one, and it hits you fast. So you're like, man, this sounds crispy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about like music from like the 90s. If I hear that same song on a stream, it's not going to sound like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
The same thing. Same thing with vinyl too, right? Yeah. Which is why vinyl's had such a big resurgence. Is because
it's the sound, man.
The sound is awesome.
It's all in the wavelengths, man, and that's what it was created for. That's why. That's why the damn vinyl was so big, so that they could fit the wavelength onto something that you could listen to. So
it's crazy too. You go into pretty much any store like a Best Buy or Barnes and Noble or whatever. All vinyl. There's vinyl everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's so crazy how
we were
big
just in Guitar Center, and they had a small little vinyl area with like that. They had Outcasts. I want to say they had the Chronic.
You know what's funny? Anywhere I see vinyl, I always see an Outcast album or Outcast single. It'd be like the singles. It'd be like the ATLians with the B side on it or whatever. Every time I go to a record store, I always see that album.
Outcast. One of the best. So
legendary. What do you think? Off subject a little bit, but speaking of Outcast. Andre 3 Stacks did a interview very recently and basically said that he hasn't come out with music because he's just really hasn't been in that creative space. Like he can't write, which is crazy to think about a legend.
Well, I think it's a few things with Andre too. Okay. I think, man, Andre for one always been way ahead of his time.
Yeah,
you know
way ahead. Like,
I don't know if y'all back in the day. To be honest, man, like. The ATLian records and Aquemini, those lyrics that he wrote on those records to me are some of the best ever. Like, and you got to think about who wrote that. Came from like a mind of a 19 or 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're at that level at 20, 19, as a human, you grow. You know what I'm saying? So I think with him, man, if you can't have the impact that you had before, it kind of takes away from your creativity. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter how much we all love Outkast, if they came out with an Outkast album tomorrow, it's not going to have the same impact that it had back in the day. It's just not.
That's true.
Unless, I mean, I can't tell the future, but it would have to be something super spectacular happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's true. And I think that's the way he looks at things. Like, you know, the hip hop, the way the industry is now, it's like geared for the kids.
Yeah.
And he was like, the kids ain't going to be buying my stuff per se. They're not going to be listening to me. But sometimes I think that might not be true because I think Andre transcends a lot of that.
For sure.
Because if you think about the young rappers, he's always getting name dropped by everybody.
Yeah.
I just name dropped him on a record I did with Mega Ran.
Okay.
In fact, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, man, no, actually, it was a record I did with Emmett Dupree. I didn't even put that out yet. I don't know if y'all know who Emmett Dupree is.
Emmett's
I got a record with him that
King Emmett, man, he's fired, dude.
But I mentioned Andre I mentioned 3 Stacks in the record, so it's kind of like, man, I have a lot of things to say about Andre. He's pretty much one of my favorite rappers.
He's got my favorite verse of all time. Favorite verse of all time, and it's not even on one of his songs.
Really?
It's on a feature
Which song?
With Snoop and Devin the Dude. And it's called What a Job This Is.
Whose album is that on?
Devin the Dude's.
On Devin's.
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
So in this verse, it's one of my favorite verses of all time. The song is about their job as rappers, right? And this is back in the early LimeWire, where people were stealing music, so they talk about that a little bit. And so he constructs his whole verse about how he does his song for the people, right? And then at the end of the verse, he says goodbye to the couple that he was just talking about.
Oh, I know what verse you're talking about now. Ooh,
yeah. No, you're good. You're good.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And he goes,
genius.
Hey, can you put this in your raps? I don't see why not. Devin is the dude. You're going to probably hear us talking about smoking. And I was like, yo, that was because you listening to the story of it.
You know what's crazy? Andre's featured verses are just, even from back in the day. If y'all remember on the Goody Mouse first album, that song, what was it called? Mind State. Man, yo, the end of that, the beat goes off and he's still spitting. You know what I'm saying? And then even on their second album, when he did the Black Ice verse, like the stuff he was saying on there is just incredibly mind blowing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, genius, pure genius. And how you got to remember how young he was making these verses. And your mind grows as a man. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And you kind of get over things and things become old and juvenile for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if that's the way he looks at rap, but I think he does. Because if you think about it, by the time they came out with the Love Below It, he wasn't even rapping no more.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying. I think nigga was just that good. You know what I'm saying? He was just that good. He's like, I'm too good for this. You know what I'm saying?
I'm out. Yeah, that's true.
Since we're here, what do you think of hip hop today? Like the state of hip hop? Do you think it's in a good spot or a weird spot? Not so good spot? Not. It could be indie.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Or actually like radio hip hop.
To be honest, hip hop, in my opinion, has never really been in a good spot. And the only reason why we say that is because we get nostalgia for a time when we listen to old records, right? It takes us back to that time.
Okay.
Think about it. In the early 80s, right? Hip hop was a rebellion type of art form.
It was.
Because of all the shit that was going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that wasn't a good place for our people. Plus, the artists weren't making any money off their records.
That's true.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. Yeah.
Them guys are broke. Melly Mel and all them guys don't got bread. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then after that, now you have the late 80s, early 90s where you have like the Afrocentric type of hip hop, which was also rebellion because of racism. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So like, and then after that, the streets came in to hip hop.
Right.
So when has it really been good per se? It's hip hop is whatever our culture is doing is what hip hop is doing. Like Mos Def said, you know what I'm saying? So like, are we doing good as a culture? Not really. You know what I'm saying? We had all these protests last year because cops still killing black people. You know what I'm saying? Our culture is a representative of what's going on. I mean, our music is a representative of what's going on in our culture. So I don't really like the term of saying, is hip hop good now? It never really was, man, because hip hop is a rebellion culture.
Okay.
Based on what's going on.
I love that answer.
That's just how it is.
That's a great take. That's a great take.
Now you could say is the quality of the music better now and then. That's a different story. But is hip hop in a good state? I mean, as our culture, no, never.
I love it, and thank you for that answer, man. Because I've asked that question quite a few times on this show, just to different people who's been in music and stuff, and I love your take. Thank you for giving me that answer,
it's
man,
just
that's dope.
because I don't look at hip hop as just music. For me, it's a culture thing. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
like,
for sure.
It's just what we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the culture ain't never really been that great. You know what I'm saying? You had the 90s, the crack era. The music represented that. You know what I'm saying? Now you got the trap era. You got the trap era, and actually we're beyond the trap era now. We're in the not the drug dealer. We're in the drug user era. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
for sure.
When was it good? You had the artists getting raped for their publishing back in the day, and most of these guys come off the street and they had nothing anyway.
Right.
And they were basically talking about their environment. Where Melly Mel said, broken glass everywhere. People pissing on the corner and they just don't care. You know what I'm saying? So like, was that good? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's things like, look, there's a rose that grows through a concrete. You know what I'm saying? And that's what hip hop is. It's the rose that came out of the concrete. When you have people like in my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Like black people, Afro Latinos, the urban society, to me, that's the people of God. Not to sound racist or nothing, but like we're the most persecuted, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what comes out of that? What came out of that? You know what I'm saying? A beautiful art form. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even if you look at the graffiti, like in New York City, you know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff is beautiful. Yeah. In my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. And it's like, it's the rose that came out of all that. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really say hip hop was ever really good per se. I can't.
That's a great take.
You know what I'm saying?
That is a good take. Yep, for sure.
Going back to writing, have you found that over the years writing has become more and more difficult, or maybe more easy because you're more seasoned now? You know what I mean?
It's a little bit of both. For me, speak for me personally, man.
Yeah.
Writing, it's like a muscle. You just get better at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I listen to some of my music now versus the stuff I made when I was younger, and I'm like, man, I'm so much like just
beyond it.
Before, I think I used to approach rap like, let me show you how good of a rapper I am. Now I'm just hitting you with stuff in my life, and I know how to rap, so I know how to put that into a way where it could be descriptive in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think now it's not hard for me to write per se. Sometimes my life is kind of crazy, and it's hard to just get in a creative spot sometimes because I got a lot of stuff going on. But nah, that making music, bro, like if it's kind of like, it's like being a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Your shot, a lot of times your body breaks down, but your shot gets better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same concept.
Good point.
Same concept.
Okay. I like it. Man, I'm going to need you to stop with all the fire answers.
Right.
I'm just an old soul, bro. That's what it is.
No, I love it, man. I love it.
Appreciate it.
Make me think about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So let's get into some of your new endeavors that you're diving into. And really want to dive into this because Penny for your thoughts, man. This show is going to be on Icon Radio, one of the number one media outlets out here in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I think it's legendary, man, for you hooking up with Blaze, hooking up with RTU, man, and hooking up with Icon Radio, and being able to do this show because it's one of the pillars in the hip hop community. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the forefathers of this game. You know, for a lot of these kids, man, you know, they're eating off what y'all did. You know what I'm saying? And for you to come in and have a show that's gonna break down the real art of emceeing and hip hop and beats and intricacies for a hip hop nerd like myself who loves that type of stuff, who loves double entendres, who loves schemes and angles and blah blah blah. I'm so excited for the show. So talk to us how this show came about, how the Icon thing happened, and basically what the show's about.
Yeah, definitely. First, shout out to John Blaze. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to
John Blaze
man.
really does look out for this culture, man.
He does.
You know what I'm saying? He really is tapped in. You know what I'm saying? You know, obviously as a DJ, you have a lot of music that you deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for him, at the end of the day, he's a hip hop dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he had a conversation with me, and he was like, you know, we don't really have an outlet for like real hip hop talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was like, you know, we have DJ shows, we have podcasts, whatever. He said, but the thing that's lacking is the real essence, you know what I'm saying, a real conversation about the culture, about music. And he was like, you know, I couldn't think about anybody better but you. You know what I'm saying? And I felt very gracious when he approached me with that. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I don't know if this is something that you would want to do. I was like, hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? For me, I feel like, again, as somebody who's been around for a while and I pay my dues out here, now I have a responsibility, you know what I'm saying, for some of these younger cats and for the culture in general. So like, what I want to do is I kind of like just want to break down, you know how like when you used to get in the car, when you was young, you put in a CD, you smoke a blunt, you listen to it, they're like, bro, this dude said this, and that.
Yeah.
That's the type of element I want to create. You know what I'm saying? I want to take a song or a verse and break down everything that this person is saying. And even if I have a guest and we're talking about his music, I want to understand where your mind state was when you wrote this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's the real shit right there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, at the end of the day, hip hop, you know what I'm saying, the lyrics in hip hop, what we say has power. You know what I'm saying? So even if I took a new song and did it or an old song, I want people to look at it and hear it from a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? From somebody who's an MC, but also somebody who, you know what I'm saying, who's tapped into the culture.
To the culture.
And it's not just about old music. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of new stuff I listen to. Like, damn, this dude said this and that.
Yeah.
Like, I just heard the record with Benny the Butcher and J. Cole not too long ago.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Bro. Like something like that. Like I would break that down. Like, bro, he said this. Like, think about the meaning of what this brother said when he said this, and that.
So like, you are going to do like Benny the Butcher type stuff, or is it going to be more indie type of?
No, everybody.
Everybody. Okay.
From Benny the Butcher to Kurt Cobain's to, you know what I'm saying? If there's something I'm feeling, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because people make stuff. Like I can even take a Gucci Mane song, some of the stuff he's saying, I'm like, bro, he was killing this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
it's,
bro, I'm a hip hop dude. So like for me, it's all like, I just want to take certain things that I really like and like that I think are genius and break those things down. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I'll take something like, we'll have like a day where we'll take classic records and do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I want to make sure that I also want to have guests on there who are on the same mode too. And I've already talked to some people and they're excited. I'm like, bro, I need to get you on the show. You know what I'm saying? I need to get you on the show so we can break down some of your lyrics. Because like I said, a lot of people, some things go over people's heads.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.
And, I want to be able to capture that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people that spit some shit. You know what I'm saying? In fact, like Rocky Tirade, some of the stuff that he be saying, I be in the studio with him sometimes and I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about him is like, he won't even write this shit. He'll just sit there and lay down on the ground.
I know.
With his eyes closed. And be like, all right, I'm ready.
I know. The legend.
Like I've seen this happen many times. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
We've heard the stories.
He was so nonchalant. So we had him on the podcast about a month ago or whatever. He was so nonchalant about it. He just said, you know, I just walk in and I'm like, man, I don't know. I've heard some stories. Did you just lay on the ground? You get up, you spit some bars. That's crazy.
I've known him for so long. He used to write. And when he wrote, I felt like
it would hinder him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I write. Sometimes I'll just come with some shit that I think of, but for me, writing, I really get my thoughts out. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I have ADD sometimes, and I feel like I need to get my thoughts out correctly. So like with him, Brand, it just I don't know, man. Some people just he's like a savant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's like a lyrical savant, and there's not too many people I know like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like, man, Rocky don't get his flowers out here that he deserves.
No,
and
he
people
doesn't.
know, and people know. You know what I'm saying? It's just. Man, how can you?
Well, and it's probably because of that, right? Because when you are that skilled, it's like we don't even want to like fuck with dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like we know we can't even compete with you in that level. You know what I'm saying? And not even compete, but like it's like, well, who does he rap with? Right? Like who does he collab with?
Us.
And right. You know what I mean? Like, but outside of that, it's like. I think a lot of people just don't even want because they know what's going to happen.
You know what's good though? The one thing I can say is like if you're in a group with someone like him and Mega Ran, like you got to be on your P's and Q's when you come in when you dropping verses, and I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like because I know I can't come with no bullshit if I'm on a record with them. You know what I'm saying? I put out a song called "Take 'Em to the Ground" a couple years ago, and man, we killed that shit. And the first thing I thought of in my head is I gotta try to murder these dudes as much as I can because I know how they gonna come. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the way I approached that record, and it came out great. Came out fantastic. Shout out to G1. G1 to the rescue for that.
Fire.
Yeah. So
have you ever had to rewrite a verse?
No.
Because of something? Okay.
Never. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I've had people have to rewrite their shit fucking with me, but
okay.
Absolutely not.
No. As some, you know, that happens. It does happen. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
So, but that's good because you basically saying I didn't like once you wrote it, you like I know this shit.
But the thing is, I would if I had to, if I needed to. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I'm humble. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody really just slaughters me, you also got to know your capabilities. If somebody is that good, you may just have to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna be strong in my verse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
like I know I did what I did on the
yeah.
Okay.
I just ain't never been in that situation where I felt like I needed to. You know what I'm saying? Now again, I'm just listening. Maybe other people matter. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But like as far as me, I don't think I ever needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Absolutely not.
As far as the show goes, you're going to be breaking down verses and stuff like that. But is there any element of it that you're going to be breaking down, like production?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm gonna have producers in there too.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Because I love producers. I wish I could make beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely gonna do that too. Like there's some like Jay Dilla beats, I'll just play the instrumental. You know what I'm saying? Be like, man, listen to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, just listen to the sample. Like, how the hell? You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm definitely gonna have. That's gonna be more of me having people in there because I would rather them explain to me exactly the process. You know what I'm saying? Of the chop, like when you heard the sample, what were you thinking?
What was
or
it?
even if somebody didn't use the sample, if they just played. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely gonna have that. I'm gonna have DJs too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, nice.
DJs too. Initially, obviously, it's gonna be more rap based because I'm a rapper, but I'm gonna have everybody in there. I might even have b-boys in there too, because you know what I'm saying, that's a part of me as well. So I'm gonna try to make it. I'm gonna try to make it as inclusive as possible for the culture. You know what I'm saying?
And because of that, I'm wondering this. Maybe even is there a possibility that you would have maybe like somebody that's kind of known out here, like engineer? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bro,
like the Tony Chalks of the world, like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's not just a beat maker, but an actual producer. Because we were actually talking. We're gonna have a review out on this album real soon. But there's a new album with Wiz Khalifa, Big Crit, and Smoke DZA, produced by Girl Talk, and it's I forget the name of the album.
I got a record with Smoke DZA too. Matter of fact.
Oh, do you? Fire.
Yeah, that record actually it's getting played. It gets played on 98.3 every Sunday. I've noticed it so far. You know what I'm saying? They haven't taken it off yet, so that's pretty cool.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I got a record with Smoke DZA. Shout out to Smoke DZA.
Yeah, and so this album, man, was like the thing that was dope about the album is the production was great. Like the production across the album is great, but it was so well engineered. Like the vocals were laid the right way. Like
that's how Drake records be. Drake records be so well engineered.
Like when it's just so crispy that it transfers from your headphones to your phone to your car to your subsystem.
That's really big too, man.
Yeah,
engineering and quality, man. That is so big, and like I'm a stickler to that. That's the reason why I only deal with like certain people when it comes to recording my music. Like if somebody, come to my studio, I'll be like, all right, cool, I'll come drop a verse. But for like my projects, there's only like 2 or 3 people I mess with, and one of them don't even live. He lives in L.A., and that's just how like I'm a stickler for that. You know what I'm saying? Like a big stickler. In fact, I got an album. It's not a Writers Guild album, but I got an album with Mega Ran. And I can't go to a lot of details as to what it's about, but it's based on an anime that came out in the 80s.
Okay.
Right? So we got the whole album mastered by a guy named Joker in LA because I think he's one of the greatest engineers that I know. You know what I'm saying? So like we went out there just to get that mastered. You know what I'm saying? Fire. And we're going to be putting that out pretty soon. We're just trying to figure out the marketing angle right now.
Was that the little trip you guys took?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, one of them.
Okay.
The last one we did, it was crazy, but like, yeah. So that engineering is I'm definitely going to have people on the show to talk about that because it's part of the music that doesn't get discussed that much.
Yeah.
It's probably the most important part too.
I'm excited because, that kind of our background, that's how we kind of started. That's how we found each other basically is
engineering,
doing engineering work, and going to school and all that kind of stuff. And man, and when you hear something, because I always listen to music before I listen to lyrics. So it's always the beat first for me, always. And if the beat is not good or it doesn't sound like
that's true. That's
engineered wise,
I'm beat first too.
I'm gone, man.
And no rapper, but if you choose a whack beat, I'm like,
yeah, man.
What was the knock on Nas for so long?
Same thing,
right?
Then he got Hit Boy. Then he got Hit Boy. And now he's making Grammy-nominated records. You know what I'm saying? That goes to tell you.
Oh, man.
That is the best damn decision
ever
musically he ever made because he put out 3 albums that, to me, are 3 classic hip-hop albums.
The last album, this last one that he came out with,
Magic.
Bro, those first 2 songs.
Yeah. You can't even get through like
Speechless and Joe Black.
Yeah.
In fact, I just dropped it hasn't came out yet, but I did a one take on the Joe Black beat on Icon. I think it's coming out. It's supposed to come out yesterday, but it ain't put out. I think it's gonna come out next week. Same
on the indie Icon.
Yeah. I dropped a crazy one take on that.
Crazy one.
Nice. Joe Black. Oh man, it was like 50 bars, bro. I just blacked out on that.
Yo, that beat is.
That's what it is. It just goes, and then you just go.
Right. Oh my god.
And I was just going. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I forgot dude was filming me after a while. I was just going. You know what I'm saying?
Fire.
But yeah, those first 2 songs just out the gate are just. Man, and Nas is my favorite rapper of all rappers. So like for these last few albums for me have been so good. They're just so great. It makes me feel so good.
You know what? To that extent, that shows you, man. Like going back to like an Andre 3000.
Yeah.
If you create timeless music, because we still got KD3 coming out this year. You know what I'm saying? So if you create timeless music, Snoop is another example of that. Where it's like Snoop just creates fire fucking music, man.
And I think, and here's the thing with Andre, he could be that, but Andre, I think, be thinking he too good to do that. You know what I'm saying? So like, because if Nas, these guys can make music for the rest of their lives, and people are still gonna fuck with their music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anytime a Jay-Z record drops, Nas record, Snoop, people are gonna check for it forever. You know what I'm saying? He could be in that realm. You know what I'm saying? Even Fat Joe still comes out with relevant music, and he's nowhere near as good as Andre. You know what I'm saying?
But he makes
relevant music, and he is a hit maker.
He is a hit maker.
And me and Joe from the same area, and I remember Joe from Flo Joe. You know what I'm saying? Man, I never thought he would be where the type of person he is now. You know what I'm saying? And that's because it's not just about music. It's not like when it comes to being like a successful artist, it's not just about how good you are musically. You gotta know how to play the game. You gotta know the business, and that he knows the business.
He does.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That I can say.
So when does the show come out? When does it air? Is it on YouTube? Is it going to be just audio?
Yeah, so we haven't decided on the date to actually start putting them out. So what we're doing, like this week, we're going to be making some more advertisements. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be learning more of the board that they have there. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to be able to be like efficient at it. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of video work too, so I want to make sure I'm able to film it the way I want to. So like, we got some kinks to work out, but we're going to actually have like a date within the next 2 weeks or so. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll be filming more than likely on Mondays. That's when we'll actually be filming the show.
Okay.
And then it'll probably air. I don't know if it's going to air on the weekends or sometime during the week yet. We haven't worked that part out yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you guys looking to do weekly?
Yeah.
Okay. So
it'll be once a week. I kind of want to do more, but first I got to get my feet wet first.
Yeah,
sure. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I kind of want to take baby steps. I've never done a show before.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's all new ground for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think as an artist, you understand the promotion part of it, and that's just really the biggest.
Oh yeah.
Once it's out, it's just like keep hitting their head.
You got to keep on coming with it. That's why I got to make sure I got my ducks in a row, so that way I can make it consistent every single week. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what this music, entertainment. It's all about consistency. You know what I'm saying? The moment you fall back, people don't think about it no more. People don't check for you no more. So you just got to keep on hitting people with material, and that's my goal here is just to try to be real consistent with it every week.
Okay. Yeah. So speaking of, you say you do some film work. You had the luxury, and I was just luxury, man, to hook up with Miranda and do the AZ Super Show.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Talk to us about that, how that came about. Like, what was the phone call like, and what was the event like?
So, Mr. Miranda obviously is my Writers Guild brother. So him and my other guy, Jimmy.
Yep, shout out to
Jimmy Nelson. Yep. He's actually an incredible producer. Like, he makes incredible beats. A lot of people don't even know that, but he's an incredible producer. So he does all the film work for his show. Yep. He couldn't make it that day because he was filming a wedding. Okay. So Dave called me, was like, "Hey, bro, man, would you mind filming this?" Now, I've never filmed a show, so that was new for me too.
Oh wow!
So we went out there and did it, and then I got all the footage. He came over to my house, and we pretty much edited and put it all together, and it came out really good.
Yeah,
I had a great time.
I saw some of the whatever
clips,
that you put on Instagram.
Again, he was doing another show where he was out on the scene, and he hit me up again like, "Hey man, Trill's doing this Faders event," and he was like, Grand Wizard Theodore is going to be there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all know who Grand Theodore Wizard is, but he invented scratching.
Yeah.
So the dude's a legend, and he's from the Bronx too. So we went out there. We interviewed a few people. I don't know if he's put that episode out yet, but I like that one because it's a little bit shorter, and all the people are there from my neighborhood, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So we got some good interviews. So yeah. So now, when Dave does a lot of these on-scene things, I might start working with him as far as doing his film work, which is totally fine. That's my brother.
Yeah, that was my next brother question. For life. Was like, is that going to turn into
maybe?
Something?
You know what I'm saying? Whenever he needs me, you know what I'm saying, and I know he will again. So yeah, we'll definitely get it in.
Are you looking to extend that further, like outside of just with Dave? Or are you looking to extend it maybe into whatever, right? Any type of filming?
Well, yeah, right now, I shoot videos.
Right.
I shoot my own music videos. I shoot videos for other people. I get hired by like private chefs to film their work and stuff. So film work for me was something that I picked up during COVID because we had a lot of downtime.
Right.
So I figured, I don't like wasting time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta build a new craft. I gotta create a new craft here.
Sure.
So that's what I did. I was like, for me now, it works out because like whenever I do these one takes and these freestyles, I don't gotta pay anybody to film me anymore because I just do it myself. That's what I started thinking about, how much stuff I can do myself now, without having to pay other people. So it was definitely worth it. You know what I'm saying? It was a great investment buying that camera, learning the different editing programs, and now I'm like, I use like 3 or 4 different editing programs, so I got a little bit efficient with it.
What are you using?
So initially I started using Final Cut, and then I started using Premiere, but now I'm using DaVinci, and I like DaVinci Resolve better than all of them.
Really?
Yeah, I do. It's easier. It's just easier to use, man. And it's industry standard. So like a lot of movie industries are using DaVinci Resolve now.
Okay.
So it's industry standard. And for me, it's just easy to use. Like I learned it so fast and now I use it for everything.
Nice. Is it a subscription based?
No, it's free. They have a Premiere version, but I don't need it for what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah, it's free. Whereas with Final Cut, you got to pay for that. It's like $300, whatever.
Like $300.
And then Premiere is like a yearly subscription.
Yeah.
I ain't doing all that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like DaVinci Resolve, I'm telling you, it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Somebody put me on to it. He's like, bro, just use DaVinci. I did this video. He showed me the videos he made with it. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going to use that.
And he was using the free version.
Yeah, that's what I used, the free version.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I just put on somebody else that got into film work on DaVinci, and he told me, he's like, bro, this shit is easy, and it's free.
I need to cue the sad music.
DaVinci Resolve 17, yo. I don't know if that's the main camera, but that shit works wonders. You know what I'm saying? I can make anything on that. Anything.
Man, that's good to know. That's good information, man.
Yeah.
You know?
All the filmmakers out there, man.
Yeah. And it's free. Hey, my favorite word is free, man. If I can get quality shit free, I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing about it is, like you said, technology. It's just hard finding it because you hear the certain.
You gotta do a little research.
You hear the Pro Tools. You
gotta do a little bit of research.
Yeah,
but it doesn't even take that long to research, man. I'm telling you, man. Like YouTube is everything, man. Like I've learned so much, like just from YouTube tutorials and just what works best for my camera. Like, man, the knowledge is out there. That's the one thing about nowadays. If you want to learn something, it is out there at your fingertips, and you can learn that shit very fast. You know what I'm saying? And you can turn into some dollars.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Yeah, son.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say what's next, man, for Penny the Great.
Man, right now the show, I do have a solo album that I'm about to drop.
Just gonna ask you about
I
that. I was like,
got a solo
2020 was the last time you dropped a solo album.
Yeah.
And it's actually titled "Penny for Your Thought," right?
No. A Penny for Your Thoughts was my first album I put out in 2009. So I kind of went back in the day for this new show.
Okay.
So the last album I put out was called Apex Predator.
Okay.
That was the last album, and that was in 2020. And so I got a new album right now called Anything Is Possible.
Nice.
I haven't put it out yet.
Okay.
But man, it's, in my opinion, it's some of my best work. You know what I'm saying? I worked with one producer, this guy named Ends1. I don't know if y'all know who Ends1 is, but he's an incredibly talented engineer and producer.
Okay.
And we recorded the whole thing at Deep Root Studio. I got a song with Emmett Dupree on there. I got Mega Ran on the album. I got Smoke DZA on the album.
Fire.
You know what I'm saying? So there's only 10 songs on it. You know what I'm saying? So,
perfect.
But that's why, man. And I love all 10 of them. I could literally make a video for every song on the project.
That's dope.
And I haven't actually decided on a release date yet. I also got this album with Mega Ran that's just incredibly creative. It's some of the best storytelling I've ever done.
Okay. Because
like I said, it's based on an anime that came out in the 80s. So like the music, the lyrics are about the show.
Okay.
And then the music, Slot Funk does produce the whole album. What he did was he took music from the show and chopped it. And so all the beats are samples from the show.
Okay.
So I hope we don't get sued, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But you know what, though? A lot of people love Mega Ran for what he does, so hopefully we won't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Because he thought the same thing was going to happen with Capcom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they ended up saying, hey, you can use all of our shit if you want. And he was like, hell yeah. So
that's dope.
We've been reaching out to them. We haven't got a response yet, but we're still going to go forward with it. You know what I'm saying? So,
I got a quick question for you, because you mentioned on both of those albums, you guys you use one producer for both albums, right?
Yeah.
Two different producers, but one for that one for the other one. Do you find that because I've really been, and we were just talking about this, I feel like lately that's been the way to go, because I feel like, especially if you lock in with a dope producer who's able to create different sounds and different vibes, you actually create more of a harmony in the whole project.
That's the nail on head. Back in the day, when I first started telling people about that, when I recorded my first album, my second album was going to be produced by one producer.
Okay.
The thing is, the only thing I would say that's kind of difficult about doing that is sometimes it takes more time to do that versus you going out to this producer, let me get a beat from him, then you put them all together, right?
Right.
But when you actually sit down and you make beats from scratch, I've noticed I get the best sounding stuff that way because I put out an album in 2014 called You Can All Die Now. And that album had beats from a lot of different people. And it was cool, you know what I'm saying? And then even the last album I did, Apex Predator, that had beats from a lot of different people too. And I feel like the albums that I put out that were all produced by one person, they always sounded better. So I put out an album called Sophisticated Ignorance that was produced by Hexagon.
Shout out to Hex.
And that album to me, it just sounds very musical because it was like literally we would go into the studio and have nothing. And then I will beatbox something and he'll play it. And that's how we would build beats. And then while he's building it, I'm writing. So that's how we would make songs. So I took that same approach on this album, Anything Is Possible. And but this time it was a little bit different because the producer that I'm working with, he plays a lot too. You know what I'm saying? So like it just made things a little bit easier musically.
Okay.
But yeah, working with one producer, I think you're going to get the best out of both of you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because the producer, he don't want you. He ain't gonna want you to put on no bullshit on his beats. So he's gonna hold you to a higher standard.
Right.
Plus the beats that your ideas and thoughts are gonna be more on those beats because they're made for you. You know what I'm saying? So I think you get the best product that way. You know what I'm saying?
And probably a better project overall, right? Like just the harmony across every song.
Yeah.
That's what I feel was so great about KD1, KD2. Magic was like, even though the beats were different, the harmony was there. You know what I'm saying? Because there's certain sounds that no matter what type of producer you are, it's like Lost Perception, right? He's got, no matter what beat he has, you hear that Lost Perception funk to it. You know what I'm saying?
Like a melody a little bit.
It's just
because I've worked with him before too. Yeah. So yeah, there's always some melodic, some melody
something
in there.
You know
yeah,
that you can tell. So that's dope. That's dope. What's the vibe of the album?
Man, bro, to be honest, it's real. I want to say current. It sounds real current.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The music's real current.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a boom bap album.
Okay.
At all. But lyrically, I'm killing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, I learned that when I rap a lot about my life and what's going on, I make the best music because I be having a lot of crazy shit going on in my life, bro. Like, I don't know why, but it just is what it is. It's like a movie every day. So like, instead of before me trying to make topical songs, like I'm going to show you how good I can rap and be lyrically, like now I'm just making music based on what's going on around me. Okay. And it comes out real fast, you know what I'm saying? And it comes out very intricate, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could play out some records right now.
Yeah.
I know, right?
But yeah, like it's the music it sounds more current, but the flow is to be honest, it's kind of a dark album a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I think over the last 2 years I've just been going through a lot, so it just came out in the music. Okay. But everybody listens to it that I've let hear, they're like, bro, this is it. This is the best stuff you've ever made. You know what I'm saying? Because to me it's so real. You know what I'm saying? It's unapologetically real. You know what I mean? So
has it been and
there's not that much profanity on it either. There's like maybe 5 cuss words in the whole album. But it's dark still.
Damn.
And it wasn't something I even thought of either. After listening to it, after recording, like you just writing. Right. After I'm recording and we're making radio edits, I'm like, man, we don't really got a lot of stuff to edit here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right. So to me, I think I just got to a different plateau. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about earlier the jump shot. My knees may not be that good, but this pen, you know what I'm saying, is just getting nastier, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I may not be able to jump that high no more. Okay. But this pen will tear you up, you know what I'm saying?
I hear that. I respect it. 2 things. Have you found it, how has it been like transitioning into the newer style sound, first and foremost? And how has that affected your writing style as you've gotten more mature? And do you think that's led to maybe having, like you said, less profanity? Because I do notice a lot of artists, as the older they get, the less F's and the less, you know what I'm saying? It's more like
maturity,
it's the maturity in their bars. You know what I mean?
That's a good question that you asked. So one difference, right? So like a lot of times music now is cadence heavy.
Yeah.
So I think the way I approach songs now is instead of me thinking of lyrics first, I think of the cadence first. So it's, I'm listening to it, I'm like, I'm like, okay, that's the cadence I want to use, and I just fill in the words. So that's a different approach than what I did before. Whereas I would hear a beat and I'll just try to rap. You know what I'm saying? So now it's more, I want to give you a little bit of a melody because it sounds better for your ears.
Yeah.
Because the melody is going to capture you. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of a cadence versus me actually writing the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? And now sometimes I actually I kind of write the chorus first. Okay. That's something I learned from being in music a while. Like I've been around some people that have been like kind of successful when it comes to making records. And the first thing that they told me, and I've heard this from multiple people, is like, you know, one of the issues, like giving me critiques, and they're like, I can tell that you write your verses before you write your chorus. He said, because the chorus is a little bit laid back and weak, whereas your verses are really strong. And he was like, and to be honest, you need to make sure your choruses are really strong. And the choruses, like the verses should basically like accent the verses. Well, the verses should accent the choruses. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so that's kind of the way I've been approaching, you know what I'm saying, music now. So that's one thing that's different. And that's just something that you learn. I think Dr. Dre said that too. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you know, your choruses are what sells records. You know what I'm saying? Every major record you remember most of the time is because of the chorus, is the hook. Yeah. So, and as rappers, and especially as dudes that are considered lyrical rappers, you don't think that way. I go in the booth and spit like 50 bars and not even think about doing a hook. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not making a song. That's not making a song. That's just rapping. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing as a rapper, you have to learn how to make songs.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can tell.
That's a hard thing to do.
The one thing that these kids, these younger generation, the one thing I give them their flowers for is because that's their focus. Yeah. Is the songs. They don't like a lot of these guys. You're like, yeah, you could rap better than me, but my song, Shorty know my chorus. They can't recite all those lyrics you spin. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's one thing I credit these young cats is that they've learned the art of just making a song. Some of these guys don't. If you listen to some of them, their verses be like 8 bars.
That's what. So that was going to be my. That was going to be my next question.
And then the rest of it is chorus.
Yeah.
And specifically with this album, have you found yourself getting away from the traditional 16/8?
Another good question. I'm glad you brought that up. So the record I did with Emmett, right, was really long. My verses, I didn't even notice how long they were. You know what I'm saying? Because the subject matter of the song to me was very personal, so I had a lot to say. Okay. So then after listening to it a whole bunch, letting other people hear it, they're like, bro, this long, man. You need to cut this. So I cut them verses. And the song is geared more towards the chorus now. Okay. And it sounds just hearing it sounds way better. Like if I were to pay you to the one before, you're like, bro, this song sounds like it's 90 years long. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, that's a good thing that you brought up, bro, because a lot of people, especially older artists that are really lyric heavy.
Yeah, 16/8.
Yeah, you gotta, right. It might be 4, it might be 8. Chorus might be 16. Like you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's just you got to be able to adapt, man. Yeah. You have to be able to adapt. If you don't adapt, man, your music is gonna sound dated.
It is.
So one thing I'm gonna tell. Shout out to all the older rappers out there. Don't give up on your craft if that's your thing. Don't give that up. But just learn how to adapt. You know what I'm saying? Like Bruce Lee said, be water. You know what I'm saying? Be water. Adapt to whatever situation you're in. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught up in that. I know a lot of guys that are older, man, and they sound like dinosaurs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't gotta be a dinosaur.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because, like I told y'all, you hear these old records, that doesn't necessarily mean they're better than these new records. It's just that brings you to a nostalgic place.
It brings you back to a spot.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
now,
true.
obviously, there are some better quality music back then or whatever, but it's like, you got to have an open mind and a different approach. Like, think about it when we was younger, right?
Yeah.
Our parents, why you wearing them baggy ass clothes and shit? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they understand our music.
Right.
We don't need to turn into them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to keep it fluid. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think that's the one thing that we forget is that at every point in music history, there's always trash music to the older generation.
Exactly. Always.
The new stuff is always.
Here's the thing.
Y'all some Jezebels. You know what I'm saying?
How are you gonna like install any kind of knowledge into somebody if you're totally closed minded to what they doing? You don't know what kind of struggle. Like you take somebody, a guy that raps still, and he's 38, 39, right? You take somebody who raps that's 20, 21. their struggles are totally different. 38, 39-year-old probably has older kids that listen to the same music that this kid does, you know what I'm saying? And, and having all kind of, and this kid is just rapping about having fun, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What were you doing when you was his age? Having fun, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to be open-minded if you want to kick knowledge. If you want, our culture, bro, I hate to use this, man, but our culture is a fatherless culture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And us, the OGs in this music shit, we have to take a fatherly role kind of a little bit, but we have to approach it with an open mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody gonna listen to you if you be like, man, what the hell y'all listen to? This shit trash. Bro, understand what they're going through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I said, what's happening in the streets is what happens in the music, bro. So you can't be like, I'm a hip hop artist or I'm a hip hop guy and shit on these young cats. Because that's still hip hop. They're just going through it's a different era, different time. You know what I'm saying?
I think two things with that too, man, is like, on one hand, we had a guest on, Dreddy Bravo, young artist, man, from Memphis. He's out here though, and good young brother. And he said something that, dropped a gem. And he said, when I talk to my son, when I try to give game, I do it from a standpoint of how would I have received it. And I feel a lot of times we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We do it from the way that we did receive it. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
How did you receive how it was told to me?
You know what I'm saying? So
even though I didn't like it at the time, I'm going to do it to you. You know what I'm saying? And I think the other thing with that is that because of that relationship, and like you said, the fatherless kind of relationship, hip hop has always stayed in a certain vein, right? And stayed very, very young as far as the popular part of it.
Exactly.
And when you look at the rocks,
but you also got to remember though too, hip hop is still in the grand scheme of things a young,
very young
music art form.
It is
like it didn't. The first hip hop record per se didn't come out to the late 70s. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Every other music art form has been around for years. Like we barely got rappers now in their 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like
that's true.
We're still young. You know what I'm saying? We're still young. The oldest rappers in our genre are in their 50s, maybe approaching 60 at the most. You know what I'm saying? So whereas you got you got these old rockers living around 70, 80. Some of them not even here no more. They're so old. You know?
Right. Yep.
So yeah, man, like it's a different art form, man. And you got to remember too, like the culture where it came from. So the projects, the streets, that culture didn't exist until the 60s, if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? None of that existed until the 60s. It took 10 years for hip-hop to be created out of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the other thing, man. It's a very young art form still. In 15, 20 years, it's going to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be
It's
different.
going to be way different.
Way different.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of scared a little bit to where, but I mean, humans are humans, bro. At the end of the day, everything recycles. It always does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think you've already seen that in hip hop in general, right?
Yeah,
like,
you have.
You've seen the ebb and flow of it, like where it's like, okay, we're going real hip hop, right? And then we're gonna go back to, but that's always been the beauty of hip hop. Think about it
like this. Look how the rappers dressed like in the late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
They dress like the kids do now.
Right. They do. Right.
So at some point, people might start dressing like kids in the 90s.
Yo, they might. Yeah, they got the 4XL. You know what I'm saying? They got the 4XL Foot Locker, 5 for 20 on. You
like
know
when
what
you
I mean?
look at Grandmaster Flash and all them, how they dressed, people used to call them gay and all that stuff. Now they be like, man, look at these dudes. That's how kids dress nowadays. So it's like, bro, it all recycles. You know what I'm saying? It recycles. And even a lot of the music now, a lot of it's sampled from the old hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, they're already sampling stuff from some of it's like 2000s.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. And the funny thing is, some of these kids don't even know that. They don't even know. What's this name record?
Yeah, that's ludicrous. What you talking about?
That's crazy that we're saying that's Luda. We're saying Luda is old school. That's how time.
You know what I mean?
And Luda, to me, in my mind, has always been a newer rapper.
Right. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's where we at.
That's where we at now, man. That's
crazy.
You gotta accept it.
Yeah, man. So you got the show, got the album. Anything else that you working on that you can speak on? So I got my some
solo
exclusive. You know what I'm saying? So
I got the show. Basically that's it, man. All three of those things are very time consuming. You know what I'm saying? Like
sure.
Recording 2 albums, doing a show. A lot of this stuff is very time consuming. You know. Plus, like I said, I'm shooting videos for people. I shoot videos, so all of this keeps me like. it's kind of like my thing, you know, it keeps me going. You know what I'm saying? Without hip hop, I don't know what I would be.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like, it's not work to me per se. It's kind of like, I'm almost afraid, like, I don't know if you ever heard this before, but like, I'm almost afraid to get to the point where I feel like, oh, I'm successful now because I love the grind. I love it, man. I love the process, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
I love creating, you know what I'm saying?
You have to.
Like, to me, the creative process is God, you know what I'm saying? I can't explain it anywhere. You know how we were talking about Rocky, laying on the floor? That's God, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like us making all this shit is there's a, man, Quincy Jones said this, he was like, bro, you making music. Quincy Jones was like, you're making music, you have to leave the door open a little bit for God to come in the studio too.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? That extra untangible thing. You know, how is this nigga that nice? How did y'all think of that? It's God, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know, outside of that, I don't really have that, like, my time is very consumed with all of that. You know what I'm saying?
That's good though.
I definitely want to, I do got something I want to speak on. So, I haven't fully went into this yet, but I'm lightweight kind of starting to manage an artist.
Okay.
So this is another new venture for me.
Okay, dope.
So I don't know which direction I'm going with this yet, but he's very, very, very talented. He's like Prince. He plays the guitar, he can sing, he plays the drums, plays the piano, he can rap, he can engineer, he can produce. He's incredible. Okay. And he got street cred. You know what I'm saying? So like, jeez. And I've known him for a while. You know what I'm saying? He's been in prison for 8 years, and now he's out, and now I'm trying to get his stuff going for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a gift. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how I'm going to approach this yet. I'm still trying to get my managerial feet wet a little bit. I'm talking to other people who manage artists so that way they can give me some insight. That's pretty much what I did last week. I met up with other managers so that way I could pick their brain. Right. And I think they probably thought I was approaching them like, hey, can you manage me? I'm like, nah, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I need some help here.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
I need some advice. Yeah.
Right. So I'm kind of taking that on. If y'all go to my Instagram, Penny the Great, at Penny the Great, I got a couple of videos of him in there, you know what I'm saying? There's me like recording him at the studio, and he does acoustic, like he's just incredible. You know what I'm saying? So y'all should peep that. His name is Del Vegas. He goes by Boy Genius, but his name is Del Vegas, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And he's an incredible talent. And I'm trying to get his shit the right way, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see where that goes.
And when you do,
yeah,
you give us a ring.
Yeah.
And we'll have him on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. He has an incredible story, you know what I'm saying? And like, the music just comes out of him. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you go to my Instagram page, I mean, it just comes out of him. He just makes up songs off the top of his head on his guitar.
That's dope.
Or on his piano. And it be some hood shit too. You know what I'm saying? It don't be like no, it be some hood shit. Yeah. But the kid's very incredible. Okay. And hopefully I can make that. I really hope I can make it happen for him because I think that the world needs something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'm a little bit nervous about that too. I feel like I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff I've never done before. But you know what they say, if you stay in the same spot, you're going to get the same results all the time. So I got to try to do other things in life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Like I really do. And that's where I'm at right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, stay tapped into your Instagram so we can, everybody else out there too.
Yeah,
so we can find out when the show's coming back. Because I'm looking forward.
So y'all tap in Penny the Great. And remember the word the is spelled THA, not THE. So Penny the Great.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's on everything. That's on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. Penny the Great, the same way. Remember THA, not THE. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll sprinkle it. It'll be down here in the details. You know what I'm saying? Y'all
for
can click the links and all that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man, for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it. I apologize for
last time, man, but what happened was with Dave, he hit me up last minute, like, bro, I ain't got nobody to record. I'm like, and I said to him, and then I was like, I forgot about this interview. And I felt bad because I'm very punctual, man. I'm very punctual.
When you said Dave, I was like, all right, he get a pass.
Yeah. And he had nobody to film the shit for him, and I was like, all right, let's go ahead and do it.
You're good. We said Dave, I was like, all right.
And that was crazy, too. So, I didn't even tell you this part. So, for that show, now remember, Dave lives downtown Phoenix. I live like in Scottsdale, right? Yeah, yeah. So the show was over here at the stadium, right?
Right.
We get there, and right when we get there, he's like, bro, I forgot our bands to get in. So we had to drive all the way back to his house on 7th Street and Thomas and drive all the way back to the stadium. Traffic. You know how traffic is. Man, bro, it was crazy.
Crazy. Was shut down in like 10 different spots.
Right. I had to light up real quick.
The 101,
drive, yo, because it was wild, man.
Yeah, you got to relax, you know? This way Arizona drives. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, man, again for coming on.
Yeah,
man.
We really appreciate you, brother.
So, man, anytime, man. Anytime. Once I start putting out all these projects I'm working on, man, I'll definitely come back and talk about them and stuff, man. But
tap in for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can't wait for y'all to hear some of this stuff.
I can't wait. I can't wait to tap in too, man. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys stay safe. You guys stay positive out there.
And as always, this is the Gray Space. Peace.